Hello, my name is Obafemi Oyewumi. I welcome you once again to yet another class of uh, cost accounting. And this moment we're looking at stock levels. When we talk about stock levels, I want you to understand the fact that inventories they rise and fall with usage and allocation of materials to production process or processes, okay, or outright sales to customers. In order to stay in business, it is imperative for every for entities to have adequate reserve of inventories at all times. Okay, what it means that inventory must be well managed, and one of the ways by which they manage inventories is for each entity to understand the different stock levels to be maintained. The objective basically is for them to be able to keep the cost of inventory at its minimum, there's minimum. Okay, you don't overstock and you don't understock basically. So it is imperative for every organization to appreciate the different levels of stock that must be maintained per time. And okay, today we're looking at different stock levels, and then we'll look at how to calculate them as much as possible. The different stock levels are reorder level, minimum level, and maximum levels of stock. Okay, let's look at the first one, stock levels or reorder level. That's the first one we're looking at, reorder level. Reorder level is start point of level of stock of material, which the when the stockkeeper starts the process of initiating purchase requisition for fresh supplies of those materials. Is at the point at which the stock manager starts the process, initiating purchase requisition. Remember we talked about purchase requisition in the other session. Okay, so it is the level at which new order for materials should be placed. Is level at which new order for materials to be placed. So once you reach this level, you know that you have to make fresh, supplies. What are the determining factors here? Number one is the rate of consumption of materials. Number two, the delivery or lead time. Okay. Number three, the minimum level of stock. Okay. So these are the factors we consider when we talk about, stock level. So the other level equals. Let's look at the formula for calculating the other level. The other level equals maximum consumption multiplied by, it's supposed to be multiplied by, I beg your pardon, multiplied by maximum reorder period. Okay, the next one is minimum level. Minimum level is the minimum quantity of material which must be maintained at hand at all times. This level considers the adequate or normal consumption expected. Stock should not normally fall below this level. So what we're saying here is that minimum level is the minimum quantity of material which should be maintained, which should be at in hand at all times. Okay, the stock levels or is should not be allowed to fall below this particular level. Otherwise, there will be emergencies. Okay, so it is the stock level that the stock must not be allowed to fall below. All right. So what are the factors to be considered here when we look at the minimum level? Number one is the lead time. Okay. Number two is the rate of consumption of material, and then okay, the formula for calculating minimum level is the other level minus open bracket normal consumption multiplied by normal reorder period. I take that again. Reorder level minus open bracket normal consumption multiplied by normal reorder period, bracket close. That's minimum level. The next one is maximum level. This is the maximum stock which should be held in stock at any time. Okay, a stock at this point, stock must not be allowed to rise above it. This level is considered using the lowest rate of consumption which could be expected if delivery was received in the shortest possible time. All right, then this is influenced by the rate of consumption of the materials in question, the lead time, the reorder level, the reorder quantity, the capital available, and the opportunity to acquire items of low prices, the cost of storage and availability of storage space, and then the risk of obsolescence, and then deterioration, then the insurance cost as well. Okay, let's look at some Now let's just to continue with this. So the quantity is fixed so as to avoid overstocking. Okay, so you cannot afford to overstock, because once you overstock, it will lead to increase in working capital requirement. Okay, and then when you also overstock, there will be need for more space, and so that means you're going to be paying more rent. Okay, you also run the risk of obsolescence and the account of overstocking. All right. Okay. There are also chances that quality of materials will deteriorate because large stock will require more time before they are consumed, and that's correct. So if you buy, if you have stock, there's also a risk for your stock, some of them to go back to deteriorate in value. Okay. Number five, there may be fear of depreciation in market values. Okay, when you overstock materials as well. Okay, what's the formula? The formula is also stated there. It is maximum stock level. Maximum stock level, that's the name now, is equals to reorder level plus reorder quantity minus open bracket minimum consumption times minimum reorder period. I'll take that again. It is maximum stock level is reorder level plus reorder quantity minus open bracket minimum consumption multiplied by reorder period. Now let's look at some questions here and see how to calculate some of these levels of stock. Okay, saying here the materials analyst has forecast the following data in respect of material MS6, MS6. Okay, these are the details given. Maximum consumption of material per week is 400. Normal consumption of material per week is 300. Minimum consumption of material per week is 200. Reorder quantity given 2000 units. Then the reorder period also given is 4 to 6 weeks. When we talk about reorder, that means that the time, okay, that you take for the stock to be delivered, brought into your stock. So with these details, we are asked to calculate the reorder level, minimum level, and then the maximum level. Okay, so let's look at the solution, given for the purpose of this particular um, question. The first one is the reorder level. Okay, and we are given um, the the formulas. Maximum consumption per week times is supposed to be multiplied, please. Okay, times maximum reorder period. So in this example, we have 400 units as the maximum consumption per week, and then we have 6 weeks as the maximum reorder period. Remember, we have 4 to 6 weeks, so the maximum is 6. So what you have there is 2004 units. 2004 units. Now let's look at the minimum stock level. It's important that you get to know this formula. Very, very important. Okay, minimum stock level, the formula is reorder level minus, well, I've given this before, minus open bracket normal concession times normal reorder period. So we have 2004 as calculated, 2004. This is usually the first place the first calculation that you do. The first one is 2000, okay, 4, that's the reorder level. So reorder level is 2004 minus 300 units, that's the normal consumption, okay, and multiplied by 5 weeks, which is normal reorder period. Let's go back to what we have here: maximum, minimum, and then a normal and minimum. So normal is 300, minimum is 200, maximum is 400. Okay, so we have been able to calculate our initially calculate our reorder period, which by multiplying the maximum consumption period by the maximum reorder period. Okay, the normal reorder, the next one that we'll look at the minimum stock level. We calculated this earlier on. So what we now needed to do was to multiply the normal consumption given, multiply by the normal reorder period. Normal reorder period, we gave a band 4 to 6. So all you have to do is uh, you know, um, add the two together and divide by 2 to get an average of normal reorder period. That's where it is not given specifically. Maximum reorder level, maximum stock level rather, is reorder level minus bracket open minimum consumption times minimum uh, reorder period multiplied by the reorder quantity. So you already were given, we calculated this one before, that's 2004 minus 200, which is the minimum consumption, multiplied by the minimum reorder period plus the reorder quantity. Also give it, the question, that we're trying to look at the other quantity 2000 given here, 2000 given there. So that's the formula, and that's what we are at 2000, 3006 units. Okay, let's look at other questions. Just for us to appreciate what we're trying to do. Practice question: calculation of stock level. So number two, calculate the reorder level from the following information. Calculate the reorder level from the following information. The formula is also simple, where we have been given maximum consumption, minimum consumption, and then we also have a reorder period, 12 to 10 to 12. So this is the minimum. Then there's an average, which is like normal or average lead time, and then we have the maximum. And then the formula for calculating our reorder level is maximum consumption times maximum reorder day. Okay, the period, that's 12 days. Okay, so that's what we have there. Let's look at the solution here. Okay, reorder level is 500 times 12. That will give you 6,000 units. So the other level here is 6,000 units. Illustration number 3, if we go back to number 3 there, look at the questions given, the question. Using the information below, you are required to calculate minimum stock level, maximum stock level, and reorder P level. It's imperative that you start with the reorder level. And reorder level here is maximum, that's units per day, multiplied by the highest period here, that's 150 times 15. So that will give you your your other level. That's 150 units times 15 days, so 2,250 units. The minimum stock level is reorder level minus open bracket normal consumption times normal reorder period bracket close. So that's what I have here: 2,250 minus 120, which is the normal consumption, multiplied by 12, which is the normal reorder period. Now we are given normal reorder period here. Okay, look at the difference here. In the other one, we determine the reorder, the minimum, right? We determine the normal or average reorder period by looking at taking the average of the two figures given to us. And here we'll be giving normal reorder specifically, so you have to use the normal reorder period, in solving this particular question. So maximum stock level is reorder level plus reorder quantity minus open bracket minimum consumption times minimum reorder period. That's what you have here: 2,250 plus 1,005, which was given the question, and then minus 100 times 10, and that gives you 2,750 units. We also have a practice question which I wanted to try and practice solve on your own and put the answer in the chat box or comment section, okay, of this particular um, slides, okay, when you go to the YouTube channel that you have this. Okay, so let's look at another major concept of this particular topic, and that is economic order quantity, popularly known as EOQ, economic order quantity. This is a calculated reorder quantity which minimizes the balance of cost between carrying cost and ordering cost. It minimizes the balance of cost between carrying cost and ordering cost. The economic order quantity is the quantity that minimizes the cost of ordering and carrying the cost. The total cost of material usually consists, we have told you before, that you have purchase cost, ordering cost, plus carrying cost, plus stock out cost. Those are the components of your total material cost. Okay, purchase cost, ordering cost, carrying cost, and stock out cost. Okay, but then in looking at this particular concept, okay, there are some things that you have to eliminate. Number one, purchase cost is constant, because once you know the quantity multiplied by the cost per item, you get your purchase cost. Okay, and then in most cases your stock out cost is also taken to be in most cases not relevant, because in the first time you may not easily be able to value your stock out cost. Okay, so it says since the acquisition cost per unit of material is the same, whatever is the same, okay, whatever the level of quantity that you buy, okay, it's usually excluded when deciding the quantity of a material to be ordered at one time. So again, there's no discount and there's no lead time, okay, and the lead time is certain. Hence, only the cost to be taken care of are the ordering cost and carrying costs, which vary with the quantity ordered. Okay, so let's look at the carrying cost now. We're saying that your purchase cost is not relevant because it's constant. Okay, so you have to exclude it. All right, your stock out cost as well is something that you cannot easily ascertain because it has to do with maybe the cost of goodwill, you have to do the cost of future sales that you have lost and all of that. So it's also excluded. So you are left with ordering cost and carrying cost. So let's look at the ordering cost and carrying cost. We've said something about this before. I've said something about this before about carrying cost. We said carrying cost is the cost of holding the materials in the store. Basically, it's the cost of holding materials in the store and includes stock cost of storage space, bin and rack cost, okay, cost of maintaining the material to avoid deterioration, interest payable on the amount of money locked up in the materials, okay, cost of spoilage, transportation cost, cost of obsolescence of material due to change and process of product, insurance cost, critical cost, and so on. So that's the cost of maintaining your stock in the store. Okay, let's look at the second one. That's the ordering cost. Is the cost of placing orders for the purchase of materials, and this includes cost of staff posted in the purchase department inspection session and store account department. Okay, so these are costs that are associated with ordering your stock per time basically. Okay, so let's look at the assumptions of EOQ, that's economic order quantity. The following assumptions are necessary. Number one, that there is a known constant stock holding cost, a known constant stock holding cost. Number two, that there is a known constant ordering cost. Number three, no price discount is allowed. That rates of demand are known, that is constant and certain, that is constant and certain. That there is a known constant price per unit, so the price per unit is constant. That replenishment is made instantaneously, that is the whole batch is delivered at once. That's EOQ. These are the assumptions that follow this particular concept, okay, of stock level. All right. Now um, let's look at the formula for calculating this. The formula is this: EOQ equals the square root of 2 multiplied by CO multiplied by D, over CC. What is the meaning here? Demand per annum, that's the D that we have there, demand per annum. Ordering cost per item, that's the CO, and then carrying cost per item is the CC. Okay, it's also taken here. Look at the other variant of the formula. 2DC is same thing. Annual demand per annum. Okay, that's annual demand. Ordering cost per order. Annual carrying cost per unit of cost. So that's the formula for calculating um, EOQ. Okay, so it's important that we know certain elements, in this particular matter. Okay, the annual demand for of a particular raw material equals 40,000 units, and the number of quantity per order equals 2,000 units. Given the cost per order is 40 naira, calculate the ordering costs. So how do you know the ordering cost here? Okay, so you were saying that in most cases, questions will be given to you that will not state specifically the ordering cost. So you have to derive it by yourself. So, but once you know the annual demand and then you know quantity per order, you can actually know the number of times that you place order, and then you now know the cost per order. In this case now, you have 40,000. You have to calculate the number of order per annum. How do you calculate that? Divide 40,000 by 2,000. Divide 40,000 by 2,000. So what would that give to you? Once you know the amount, then you multiply by the cost per order. Okay, you multiply by the cost of um, order. So that is what you have to do in this case. Okay, so in this case now, for example, if you want to divide 40,000 by 2,000, what will you arrive at? You have three zeros behind, and then that will eliminate that. Then you have 20. 40 divided by 2, and that at the end of the day, that will give you 20. So 20 times 40 will give you, the ordering cost. All right, the ordering cost, okay, per order. Okay, so that's what we have there. And then you can also talk about carrying cost as well. The steps at the beginning: calculate the average stock per annum, multiply the purchase price per stock item by carrying cost per naira of stock, multiply the um, multiply the average stock by carrying cost of inventory. So we must take note of the fact that when we talk about the carrying cost, we are looking at the carrying cost um, per unit. Okay, that's what it is. You have to take note of here. So in most cases, they give it to you in percentage. So you have to multiply the percentage by the carrying cost given to you, and then you're able to appreciate what the carrying cost is like. So let's look at an example here. Okay, an example. Let's look at it here. Um, so find the economic order quantity from the following particulars. Annual usage is 6,000. Cost of material per unit is 20, and then cost of placing and receiving one order is 60. Then the annual carrying cost of one unit is 10% of the inventory value. Okay, 10% of the inventory value. So we're saying that the annual carrying cost of one unit now is 10%. So 10% of the material cost is 2. Okay, so that tells you that what you'll be looking at now is 2, okay, as your carrying cost. So annual demands, annual usage is 6,000, cost of ordering is 60, then annual cost, carrying cost per unit is 2. So what we have to do, 2 multiplied by CO multiplied by D, then times, I mean, over CC, it will give you 2 times 60 times 6,000 divided by 2, and that give you, this will give 3,000, 360,000. So you look for the square root of 360,000, and that will give you 600. Um, that will give 600 units. Okay, so that's how to arrive at our EOQ. I hope you have found this particular session interesting and educative, and you have been able to know how to calculate your different stock levels, and of course this concept of EOQ. A simple example has been given for you to be able to appreciate it further. Then you can try get cost account textbooks and see how you can lay your hands on some questions, on EOQ, and also how to calculate stock levels as the case may be. So we've come to the end of this particular session again. Again, like my YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and then pass your comments, ask your questions, and then I'll visit it and also be able to respond accordingly. Thank you for being part of it. God bless you. Bye for now.